Right now, a mob of hundreds breaking into the Capitol as Congress attempts to certify the election. The latest developments from our nation's capital.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
Get out of here. Film over there. Come on. Film over there. Film that. Film that.
Just from Washington yesterday that a lot of us are still processing this morning. We are following the latest developments as we welcome you in here on a Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us.
For the first time since the War of 1812 and the second time in our nation's history, the U.S. Capitol building was breached yesterday. Capitol Police failed to keep the mob at bay, some making it as far as Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office. Others reached the Senate floor. Capitol Police drew their guns as people tried to enter the House. 4 people died during the chaos. 1 woman was shot and killed by police. 3 died from medical emergencies on the grounds. Police said at least 52 people were arrested as of last night. That number is expected to go up. 14 officers were injured.
Members of the House and Senate who were in the process of certifying President-elect Joe Biden's victory had to be evacuated from their chambers. The violence began shortly after some Republicans objected to the electoral count, a process to show support for the president, even if it didn't have the votes to succeed.
And breaking this morning, Congress is officially certifying election results, marking Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States. The former vice president's victory certified shortly after 2:30 this morning. The House and Senate rejecting objections to dismiss Biden's electoral votes from states including Arizona and Pennsylvania. An attempt was made to object electoral votes from Wisconsin, but it did not have enough support to be heard. The confirmation process is usually short and ceremonial, but the security breach halted action for a number of hours. Republicans and Democrats both blasted the mob who attacked the Capitol. And also breaking overnight, President Trump putting out a statement not long after Congress certified those results. He writes, quote, "Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th, end quote. The president repeated false claims he has made throughout the last 2 months. This statement is the closest we've gotten to a concession from President Trump.
That statement is the first we've heard from President Trump since Twitter locked his account for 12 hours overnight and required the removal of 3 tweets. One of those tweets is a video where the president asked the rioters to go home, but not before falsely claiming the election was stolen from him and telling the rioters he loved them. Twitter says the restrictions are part of its efforts to monitor the ongoing situation in Washington. YouTube and Facebook also took down the video, Facebook locking Trump's account for 24 hours. The president's Twitter ban will end in a couple of hours. Now, following yesterday's events, the Secret Service is ramping up security at the White House, the Naval Observatory, and Secret Service headquarters. That's according to a source familiar with the situation. Lawmakers say they plan to investigate how Capitol Police handled the violence yesterday and how protesters were able to get inside the Capitol building.
Vice President Mike Pence played a key role in sending the National Guard to help stop the mob on Capitol Hill. A source familiar with the decision says President Trump initially resisted involving Guard members. Pence went ahead to coordinate the deployment with the Pentagon and speed up the move. A statement by Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller even suggests that Pence gave the final go-ahead. Miller said that he and the Joint Chiefs Chairman, General Mark Milley, spoke with the Vice President prior to the deployment. The statement did not indicate that they even spoke with the president. However, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany tweeted that Trump directed the Guard to respond to the violence.
A new development in Washington this morning following Wednesday's violent day at the Capitol. A Republican source says some of President Trump's cabinet are now discussing invoking the 25th Amendment to remove him from office. The source says the discussions are preliminary, and it's unclear how many members would support that. The 25th Amendment allows for removing a president if he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office due to mental or physical illness. But it can be only used if a vice president and a majority of the cabinet agree.
First Lady Melania Trump's chief of staff is quitting following the storming of Congress. A White House official says Stephanie Grisham submitted her resignation effective immediately yesterday. While working for the First Lady, Grisham was also a White House press secretary and communications director for almost a year. A senior White House official says Grisham's resignation has been months in the making, partly because of reported political disputes with opponents in the West Wing.
More resignations in the White House could soon be on the way. Several of President Trump's top aides are also considering resigning. Multiple sources saying that includes National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien. O'Brien defended Vice President Pence for his courage to refuse to do the President Trump's bidding and certify the election. Deputy National Security Advisor Matt Pottinger and Deputy Chief of Staff Chris Liddell are also considering resigning. The three aides have not yet responded for requests to comment.
Pro-Trump protesters also got together at state capitals around the country, including here in Madison, all with the same message. They say despite all the evidence, President Trump is the winner of the election. People marched and drove their cars around the Capitol Square before moving to the governor's residence. There were also a few counter-protesters who showed up, but everything remained peaceful here in Wisconsin. In Washington state, supporters of President Trump broke through the gates to storm the governor's mansion in Olympia. Protesters, some armed, were heard chanting and yelling at state troopers who stood outside Democratic Governor Jay Inslee's door. Members of the group said they were there to complain about the state's pandemic restrictions. Authorities said Governor Inslee was in a safe location during the breach. Protesters left peacefully after more troops arrived at the property.
We're tracking new reactions now, still pouring in at this hour. Overnight, Vice President Pence tweeted this just after midnight on the East Coast, sharing photos of himself with law enforcement officials. He writes, quote, "Thank you to the incredible Capitol Hill police officers and every law enforcement officer for keeping us safe today. Thanks to your service, the Capitol was secured, and we are truly grateful."
Here at home in Wisconsin, we're hearing strong messages from politicians condemning the riots and violence. Both sides of the aisle are calling for peace. Most Republicans are decrying the violence itself, while some Democrats, like U.S. Reps Gwen Moore and State Attorney General Josh Kaul, have called for President Trump's removal from office. Republican Representative Mike Gallagher shared this message while sheltering in place.
This is banana republic crap that we're watching happen right now. This is the cost of this effort. This is the cost of countenancing an effort by Congress to overturn the election and telling thousands of people that there is a legitimate shot of overturning the election.
Representative Mark Pocan also shared his thoughts, calling this an attempted coup, and demanded those involved be arrested. 6:07, let's turn our attention now to your first warn forecast. Hattie McLean, fog out there this morning, just like you told us there would be.
That's right. We start again with fog in some areas. The fog is not quite as widespread as it was yesterday. Take a look, though, at the map this morning. Dense fog advisory still in effect for our entire viewing area. It's set to expire at 10 o'clock this morning. Our visibility is improving a little bit here in Madison. We're still less than a mile, though. Half-mile visibility in the capital city and Watertown, as well as Monroe. Zero visibility in Juneau and Lone Rock. Some of that fog is spreading further to the west as we speak this morning. Here's a look at temperatures as well. Again, all spots below the freezing point. So there, of course, could be some freezing fog, creating some slippery spots on roads and sidewalks early today. Nothing showing up on the radar map, though, and it's been pretty quiet the last couple of days. Outside of a little bit of lake effect, drizzle, or some flurries, our forecast is staying dry for south central and southwestern Wisconsin. Future track forecast says that clouds are going to stay put, though. Even though the fog lifts by mid-morning, clouds will keep in place across southern Wisconsin today. We're looking at temperatures climbing to highs in the low 30s this afternoon. So a pretty quiet day ahead and a little bit above normal for this time of the year. Take a look, though, at our snow comparison. Where do we stand? We have a decent snowpack on the ground right now. Well, so far this winter, we've had 16.9 inches of snow. Normal to date is closer to 20, so we're a little bit below that, but pretty close, and also pretty close to where we were last year at this time as well. No real snow in the forecast for the next week or so, but by the end of next week, our chances do start to increase. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We stay quiet and cloudy through the weekend. Temperatures drop to highs in the upper 20s starting tomorrow. And then as we head into next week, looks like colder weather will arrive as well as that chance for snow by late in the week.
All right, Hattie, we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you very much. 6:09 now. All virtual classes for kids in the Madison School District could be changing this semester.
Tomorrow, the superintendent for Madison Metro Schools will announce his plan. We're also hearing from other school districts on how they plan to reopen. Taylor Lazenby is live from home with the latest. Hey, Taylor.
Hi, Chris. Good morning. And since September, Belleville has only allowed kindergarten through second grade for in-person learning on a half-day schedule. Now they're looking forward to bringing in 3rd through 12th graders in a hybrid learning, which will start on January 19th. Nick Perry, who serves as superintendent there, shared with me that he has been in contact with school board members here in Madison with Madison City Schools as they look towards a possible reopen decision coming on Friday. Now, Perry says that although his district has plans in place to reopen, he has had positive communication with other school districts.
It's been a group that has stayed in contact with each other throughout this process, and we don't always agree, but we can learn from one another, and I think that's the benefit of it. And we do really do we do learn quite a bit from each other.
Now, Perry says another thing that he has seen this year is a slight dip in school attendance just from last year. But overall, the school district of Belleville's attendance rate is higher than most. Now, coming up in the next half hour, we're going to hear more from this school district and others as they have a reopening process.
Taylor Lazenby, thank you. Time right now is 6:11. Let's take a look at your first warn traffic maps this morning. We are waking up to another dense fog advisory right now, so keep that in mind as you head out the door. It is going to be another morning where it's going to be tough to see what's ahead of you. So to stay vigilant, make sure that you are staying alert and you have those low beam headlights on. Make sure you have those lights on, especially in conditions like this, to protect yourself and others. Across southern Wisconsin, we're not seeing any major issues right now. Zooming into Madison, just a couple of delays popping up in and around the downtown area. But other than that, our drive times are moving around those posted speeds. Looks like we are starting to see some slowdowns on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline. That's your first warn traffic.
6:11 now. Coming up, some good news on the vaccine front. A new timeline for when your loved ones in nursing homes could get their shot.
And later, we're tracking your stimulus payments, when you could get it, and what you can do if you don't see it.
The price of gold is at a 7-year high. Get top cash on the spot for your gold at Diamond Select. Cash in today while the price of gold is high. Don't miss out. Get instant cash for your gold today at Diamond Select, downtown Stoughton.
Is your credit score getting in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. So check your eligibility on netcredit.com today without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
I love to equal the playing field. I love to help people and allow them to feel like they are powerful instead of powerless. We're with our clients every step of the way.
Gingras, Thompson, and Walks. The forecast calls for a messy commute. The Ford lineup helps keep you in command. Intelligent four-wheel drive monitors traction, and a terrain management system adapts to road conditions at the turn of a knob. So you're ready to take on the elements with confidence. Power through the storm in a new Ford Explorer, now with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $4,250 bonus cash. See your Wisconsin dealer today.
You're up early. Well, U.S. Cellular is giving away the latest phones for free with no hidden requirements, so I did not want to miss it.
Actually, you can get the latest phones free all season long.
What? All season long, huh?
Yep, and no hidden requirements.
You in the market for any camping gear? Only been used once.
At U.S. Cellular, get the latest phones free with the plan of your choice and no required phone trade-ins all season long. U.S. Cellular. Upgrade to fair.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Waking up to stuff like this should never be a surprise. Download the Channel 3000 First Warn app and be ready for whatever Mother Nature throws our way. Get more local news now with Channel 3000 Plus, our free digital streaming service that brings you area news and info 24/7 from the News 3 Now team. Channel 3000 Plus. Download it today and watch from your streaming media player or mobile device.
At Diamond Select, our on-site goldsmith can create a beautiful, one-of-a-kind piece. Whether it's repurposing an old ring or creating from a picture on the line, we're here to help you create jewelry of your dreams. Diamond Select, downtown Stoughton.
Welcome back. 6:15 now to our coronavirus headlines. 50 more people have died of COVID in Wisconsin in the last day. That brings the state's total to just over 5,100. This new trend of daily cases has been going up as of late. The state is reporting more than 3,300 new COVID cases. Wisconsin is now nearing 500,000 all-time cases.
Federal health officials are now predicting a higher death total from the virus this month. The CDC's ensemble now forecasts up to 438,000 people could die from the virus by January 30th. That is 14,000 more deaths than forecast just about a week ago on December 30th. As it stands now, nearly 360,000 people have died in the U.S. from COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic. More than 50 cases of the coronavirus variant first discovered in the UK have now been confirmed in the U.S. CDC officials say the variant appears to spread more easily, but there's still no evidence at this point that it's any more deadly or causes more severe disease. New data says at least 52 cases have been found in the U.S. so far, including 26 cases in California, 22 in Florida. Other cases have been found in Colorado, Georgia, and New York. The CDC says the numbers do not represent the total number of variant cases in the U.S., only those that have been found by analyzing positive variant samples.
SSM Health has begun vaccinating healthcare workers outside of its own employees. That includes dentists and home healthcare providers. Right now, they're starting with smaller frontline groups. More than 7,000 SSM Health employees have been vaccinated so far. Some are receiving their second doses this week. And CVS says it's on track to complete the first dose of vaccinations in nursing homes by late January. Their vaccinations started in 36 states and Washington, D.C. last week. They're up to 49 states this morning. The goal is to get the first round done by January 25th. CVS also doing vaccinations in nearly 31,000 assisted living facilities. COVID vaccines are not currently available at pharmacy locations, but CVS says they eventually will be available at all of their stores across the country.
The CDC says it's seen 29 cases of severe allergic reactions to vaccines. A new report looked at the first week and a half of the vaccine rollout when 1.9 million people were inoculated. CDC says all the severe reactions happened within minutes, but all the patients it followed up with recovered. 17 of them have a history of allergies. Officials say people with general allergies should not be concerned, but they probably want to consult with their doctor before getting a shot. The rate of severe reactions is higher than in flu vaccines. However, CDC officials say the reactions from COVID vaccines are still rare. 6:17, checking in with Hattie McLean now. Good morning, Hattie. What are we in for today?
Good morning, Chris. Well, more clouds, a lot like yesterday. We have some fog to start in the area this morning. Take a look at the maps, and you'll see exactly where the fog is the thickest. Visibility down to 1/4 mile in Monroe. Still zero visibility in Lone Rock and Juneau. 1/2 mile visibility here in Madison. So fog is dense through south central Wisconsin, where skies actually started to clear out a little bit overnight. Cloud cover in the southwestern corner of the state, keeping the visibilities up just a little bit there. But a dense fog advisory is in effect for all of our viewing area until 10 o'clock this morning. We start with temperatures generally in the 20s. A few spots are down in the teens, but 22 here in Madison, 27 in Janesville, 24 in Platteville this morning. Heading to the bus stop, be careful. It is foggy across parts of the area. Temperatures are only going to climb a few degrees today to highs in the low 30s this afternoon. That fog will lift by mid-morning. Our extended forecast coming up. We'll take a closer peek at the weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Addie. A second round of stimulus payments are on the way. You might be wondering when you and your family will get yours. The first of those payments started going out on December 29th. You may have seen it pending in your bank account, but funds will officially become available Monday. The payments will continue to be sent through January 15th. Anyone eligible who isn't automatically sent the money by then will have to claim it on their 2020 tax return. That's according to the IRS. Paper checks or debit cards will be sent to those who don't already have bank accounts on file with the IRS. Well, if you're trying to find out the status of your stimulus payment, you can check right on the IRS's website on the first and second stimulus payment by using the Get My Payment online tool. Eligibility is largely based on income. Those earning less than $75,000 a year will get the full $600. The full payment will also go to heads of household earning less than $112,500 a year, and married couples filing jointly earning less than $150,000 a year. They'll also receive $600 per child under the age of 17.
As those checks are coming out, more money could be on its way. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will push for $2,000 stimulus checks now that Democrats have taken the Senate. Schumer was also asked about upcoming confirmation battles and whether he would do away with the legislative filibuster. He responded only that the Democrats would, quote, sit down as a caucus and discuss the best ways to get that done.
6:20 right now, just ahead for us on a Thursday morning. Ways to keep your skin from drying out this winter.
And coming up in our next half hour, which of Wisconsin's representatives changed their vote on the election outcome following the mob attack on the Capitol? Stay with us.
Cobuson Buses, now hiring.
Working with Cobuson, it's definitely been great because of the flexibility. If you do need time off, they work around you. They definitely try to make it a company that's based for you.
Visit Cobuson.com to apply.
I'm a little old to count down the days, but my ski trip to Cascade Mountain with my cousin each year, so much fun. We used to pretend like we were flying. Now, we really do. My dad and my uncle like that we still ski free. But Noah and I, we just have fun. See you there.
A healthy lifestyle starts with a great night's sleep. Shop Steinhoffel's New Year New Mattress Sale and find all the best brands at the guaranteed lowest prices. Plus, with Steinhoffel's special 60-month financing and free delivery, buying a new mattress has never been easier. So make the change to a healthier lifestyle and get a great night's sleep with a new mattress from Steinhoffel's and Steinhoffels.com.
The forecast calls for a messy commute. The Ford lineup helps keep you in command. Intelligent four-wheel drive monitors traction, and a terrain management system adapts to road conditions at the turn of a knob, so you're ready to take on the elements with confidence.
Power through the storm in a new Ford Explorer, now with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $4,250 bonus cash. See your Wisconsin dealer today.
Now through January 7th, join Planet Fitness for no enrollment. $10 a month, no commitment. 2020 is over. Start 2021 with tons of ways to get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. And spread out while you work out with cardio distancing and our new crowd meter. Plus, use our app to get moving anywhere. Your fitness is essential, so kick things off with the year's best deal. Join for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Deal ends January 7th.
5 Madison area locations. Sign up for $10 a month. Stop in today.
Finding the right ingredients for a healthy lifestyle can be tricky. That's why SSM Health and News 3 Now are here to help.
Our Time for Kids recipe for health experts use online conversations and on-air reports to answer your health questions.
So tell us, what topics would your family like to hear about? What questions do you have?
Use the handy feedback form on our Time for Kids page to share what matters most to your family's health. And together,
let's take time for kids.
Cobuson Buses, now hiring.
After we backed that bus out of its stall and started driving, I just loved it. We really get a chance to get to know each other. Almost everyone has a different story about how they came to bus driving, so you really end up feeling like you're part of a family.
Visit Cobuson.com to apply.
Check out this viewer photo from Leslie from Monticello, sharing her morning with us. Excellent framing there on the barn. Gorgeous scene. Thanks for sharing your morning with us, Leslie. What's your morning look like? Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. Post a pic on our social media pages.
6:24 right now. If your skin is dry and your lips are chapped, you are in luck this morning because it is National Winter Skin Relief Day. I guess we need a day for it. Here's some advice from an expert at Mount Sinai Hospital. Take shorter, lukewarm showers and use gentle cleansers. Harsh soaps with surfactants and claims of pH balance can be harsh on the skin. And also, don't scrub. Be tender and let the water and lather do the work. I know this is always a hard time of the year. The good news is we haven't really had a lot of really cold, dry air yet, so I haven't seen many issues. I can always tell because my lips get chapped, and then I also start to get a lot of cracking around my knuckles just from washing my hands, and I fear this year could be even worse. With COVID, we have to wash and sanitize our hands that much more, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. My hands are not too bad right now. My girls, though, my kids, like their lips are getting really chapped this time of year, and they're delicate little creatures, so I got to make sure that they're using lots of lotion and using They're always stealing my chapstick. Always taking my... I give them their own, yet they still take mine. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Josh is right, Hattie. We really haven't had super dry, cold air this time of year.
You're right, and we actually have this inversion over the region right now, which is sort of trapping some moisture in the lower levels of the atmosphere. That's contributing to the low clouds and fog, but maybe also helping your skin just a little bit. So Mother Nature giving us a bit of a boost. We're not going to see any major changes in the forecast for the next couple of days. We're going to continue as we have. Here's our Pet Walk forecast. This is Eddie in Fort Atkinson. Boy, Eddie looks like he's ready to go out for a walk. Not bad temperature-wise today, especially later on, with highs in the lower 30s. If you're walking early today, though, you're going to be dealing with some fog. Visibility through south-central Wisconsin is less than a mile in most spots, so keep that in mind. News 3 this morning returns right after the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Looking to update your flooring? Surgenians has you covered. Our experienced salespeople will guide you through the area's largest flooring selection so you can make the best decision. And Surgenians' reliable craftsmen ensure your flooring's installed right. Local, sustainable Surgenians. Love lower than low prices? Then get more ways to save at Pick and Save, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are lower than low. On food that's fresher than fresh. Pick and Save. Fresh for everyone.
It's a fact. We use our internet and TV more than ever, with most of us spending nearly 7 hours a day online. So it's no wonder thousands of families are switching to Spectrum, because most families have up to 8 connected devices, which means they need even more speed. Switch to Spectrum Internet and get the fastest starting speeds for the price. 200 megabits for just $44.99 a month, with a free modem and free security suite included. Call 833-546-4499. When it comes to TV, we're watching more than ever. In fact, 80% of us watch TV every day. Spectrum TV lets you catch all your favorite sports, news, and more live. Plus, download the free Spectrum TV app and watch on your devices. Switch to Spectrum TV from $44.99 a month. Call 833-546-4499. The fact is, Spectrum has the best services at the best price. Switch to Spectrum Internet and TV from $44.99 a month each with no contracts. We'll even buy out your current contract. Call 833-546-4499.
On the next Live at 4, Dr. Carrie Donahue takes your pet medical questions live, and we'll go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the Land Rover Defender. This is one tough off-roader. At News 3 Now, we've been asking antenna viewers to rescan TVs in order to receive our boosted broadcast signal. If you're still experiencing problems after rescanning, you may need to install a UHF-VHF combined antenna. For more information, please go to channel3000.com.
Wisconsin weather can be frustrating. Get the latest forecast, alerts, and detailed traffic reports from the News 3 Now team. On air, online, and download the Channel 3000 First Warn app. Be the first to know what's headed our way. Ghost stories. Sleeping in. Afternoon naps. Some things are just better with a toasty, warm blanket. That's why News 3 Now and St. Vincent de Paul are collecting new and gently used blankets for our neighbors in need. Please drop them off at a Dane County St. Vincent de Paul store or participating area churches the last weekend of January. Or donate new blankets online at svdpmadison.org.
A promise for peaceful transition. We're tracking new developments this morning after a bloody day on Capitol Hill.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
The United States Senate will not be intimidated. We will not be kept out of this chamber by thugs, mobs, or threats. We will not bow to lawlessness or intimidation.
As the country wakes up this morning, lawmakers are just going to bed. As we take a live look at the Capitol, right now lawmakers stayed in chambers until the early morning hours, finishing their constitutional duty to certify President-elect Joe Biden's election victory. The process had been delayed by 6 hours after a mob of violent Trump supporters broke into the Capitol. Roughly 12 hours after the riot started, Capitol officials managed to clear all buildings of internal security threats. It wasn't all peaceful, though. After that, two representatives on the House floor, Republican Andy Harris and Democrat Colin Allred, nearly got into a fistfight at one point. Welcome in, everybody. Despite the drama, lawmakers have come together to confirm Joe Biden as the president-elect.
And for the first time, we're getting as close to a concession as we've seen from the president. Breaking overnight in a statement, he says there will be an orderly transition of power on Inauguration Day. The president continued his baseless attacks on the integrity of the election in his statement as well, though.
Wisconsin's elections results are now confirmed after that overnight vote by lawmakers. There was an attempt to object to the results, but it didn't have enough support. Some legislators reversed their decision to object after the mob takeover at the Capitol. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, one of them. He voted no to objections to results in Arizona and Pennsylvania. Johnson had been set to vote yes earlier in the day. Two Republican House members from Wisconsin did still object. Representatives Tom Tiffany and Scott Fitzgerald objected to results from Arizona. All Wisconsin Democrats voted to confirm the win. And for the first time, we're seeing what Senator Ron Johnson would have said had rioters not broken into the Capitol. Johnson's speech attacks journalists and judges and promotes conspiracies about the election. He says the people who object to the certified results are patriots and believes their concerns are legitimate.
President Trump will leave office in less than 2 weeks, but some cabinet members and lawmakers are hoping to move that date up. Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar says she is drafting new articles of impeachment against President Trump. Several Democratic lawmakers say they support her, including Wisconsin Representatives Gwen Moore and Mark Pocan and State Attorney General Josh Kaul. At a protest against the election results earlier in the day, the president said he would lead his protesters in a march to the Capitol.
But I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Omar is blaming this statement from Trump for sparking the overthrow attempt at the Capitol. NPR reports there had already been calls for a second impeachment after the president's phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State, pressuring him to find votes to overturn his loss there. Also developing right now, another possibility being floated is invoking the 25th Amendment. It would effectively remove President Trump from office and make Vice President Pence commander-in-chief. Several cabinet members have considered whether to bring the proposal to Pence to trigger official proceedings. The vice president avoided questions from reporters about it early this morning. Invoking the 25th had also been briefly considered when President Trump was hospitalized with COVID-19.
Capitol Police are being praised and scrutinized this morning. For much of the early parts of the riots and looting, the officers were vastly outnumbered with no reinforcements in the works. The police chief in Washington, D.C. declared the scene a riot saying that the violent protesters used chemical irritants on police in order to break in. Eventually, the Department of Defense and surrounding states sent in National Guard troops to help get things under control. More than 50 people are now facing charges related to the riots, most of them for violating D.C.'s curfew. At least 14 D.C. police officers have been injured by the pro-Trump mob. D.C. police are also trying to find out who is responsible for planting 2 pipe bombs, one at the RNC and one at the DNC. The police also found a cooler from a vehicle that had a long gun and a Molotov cocktail on the Capitol grounds.
4 people are dead because of these riots. A U.S. Capitol officer killed a woman identified as an Air Force veteran who had stormed into the Capitol with hundreds of others. 3 other people died of medical emergencies in the area near the Capitol. D.C.'s police chief didn't specify if these people had been involved in any way with the overthrow of the Capitol building. Pro-Trump protesters in Wisconsin also want to be heard. They went to the Wisconsin Capitol building yesterday with the same message. Despite all evidence, they believe President Trump won the election. The protesters marched and drove their cars around the square before moving to the governor's residence. There were also a few counter-protesters that showed up, but everything stayed peaceful.
6:35 right now. Brand new video here of some of the damage done by looters at the Capitol. This is the ransacked office of the Senate parliamentarian. Custodial staff have been working to clean up some of the mess overnight. The full extent of the damage this morning is still not known.
The world is watching the U.S. in the wake of yesterday's insurrection at the Capitol. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the riots are, quote, disgraceful, saying it's now vital that there is an orderly transition of power. India's Prime Minister says the democratic process cannot be subverted. The European Parliament president says he is certain the U.S. will ensure that the rules of democracy are protected.
Developing this morning, a growing number of top government officials are quitting this morning after the riots. Here's a list of a few of them, including Deputy National Security Advisor Matt Pottinger, Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthew, First Lady Melania Trump's Chief of Staff Stephanie Grisham, and White House Social Secretary Ricky Nacita. More staff resignations are expected to come today.
Twitter is considering permanently banning President Trump from the platform. His account is suspended right now for a little while longer. Twitter officials say that the president severely violated the platform's civic integrity policy. Several of his tweets during the riots have been removed because of those violations. Facebook and Instagram have also temporarily blocked the president's accounts. The Twitter restrictions will be lifted just before 7 o'clock this morning. Violent protests are expected to continue as well in Washington, with D.C. still under the city's public emergency order through Inauguration Day. We're continuing to monitor the developing situation here at News 3 Now, and we'll bring you updates on air, online, and our Channel 3000 mobile app.
All right, 6:37. Now let's switch gears. Toss it over to Hattie McLean with our first warn weather. Hi, Hattie.
Good morning, Leah. We have an interesting sight on the Queen Bee Radio Sky Camera in Platteville this morning. Not as much fog in Platteville because there are some clouds overhead in southwestern Wisconsin, but this camera is pointed to the east and you can see a little bit of clearing on the horizon. So skies are clear here in Madison, but that is leading to the fog development this morning. Dense fog advisory in effect for our entire viewing area, though, until 10 o'clock this morning. Keep that in mind as you head out the door. Here's a look at current visibility. It is lowest in south central Wisconsin, so in and around Dane County, there's some pretty thick fog this morning. Visibility is running about a half a mile at the airport. Zero visibility, though, in Juneau and Lone Rock. Monroe is down to a quarter of a mile right now. Here's a look at our temperatures, and some of those places that are dealing with fog could also see some slippery spots on the roads. Temperatures are well below the freezing point once again this morning. Take a look at the upper air weather patterns. As we put this map into motion, what you'll see is that the southern track of the jet stream, the southern jet is the strongest right now, and that's really where the storm track is. Any storms are moving around us here in the Great Lakes region, so our forecast continues to stay pretty quiet. Now, not a whole lot is going to happen to change this upper air weather pattern, so it looks like we're going to continue with these same weather conditions. Lots of clouds, relatively mild conditions, and quiet quiet weather. That certainly is going to hold into the weekend. We're looking at highs in the upper 20s both days, but a lot of clouds lingering across the area. Temps over the next 12 hours today, look for highs in the low 30s. Winds will stay from the northeast, but remain light through the day. Our forecast then has highs in the upper 20s starting on Friday. 20s continue into the first part of next week. Our next chance for precipitation holds off until late next week, and it looks like temperatures will get a little cooler as well.
All right. Thanks, Addie. Madison School District officials are still finalizing plans for the next semester, and they plan to share that news tomorrow afternoon. The district does not currently meet the metrics that city-county health leaders have set to reopen. The latest data collected by the district shows fewer than a third of families at all grade levels would want their students in some form of hybrid or in-person model. The district hasn't shared how many of its teachers are willing to go back in person, but data shared online by some Madison Teachers Union members show that almost all of those polled do not want to come back yet, that they don't feel comfortable. We'll have full coverage once that decision breaks tomorrow afternoon. Check channel3000.com. Other districts across the country, they are also grappling with this decision. The Chicago Teachers Union's latest proposal wants its district to delay in-person learning until all employees have gotten at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. In the meantime, the Chicago Tribune reports the union only wants in-person learning by pairing staff who opt in voluntarily with students who want to return. Illinois' governor says teachers there could get vaccine within weeks. In Wisconsin, teachers could be next in line, but a solid distribution plan hasn't been made. The state is still trying to vaccinate our healthcare workers and our nursing home residents.
We are continuing to talk to parents, teachers, and schools about plans for the upcoming semester. This morning, we're taking a look at one local school district that already has their plans in place. Taylor Lazenby is live at home with more. Hi, Taylor.
Hi there, good morning. That's right. Belleville, Superintendent Nate Perry told me that he's excited to reopen schools back on January 19th. He commends teachers and parents for working together during this very tough time. Now, the full scope of the pandemic's effect on the academic process is still unknown throughout the state of Wisconsin. As part of the pandemic relief bill, the state legislature suspended student testing requirements for the 2019-2020 school year. And that prohibited the Department of Public Instruction from issuing school and district report cards covering that school year. Now, as we look forward to 2021, students will have to take standardized testing, which raises a big concern for where students will fall this year.
To have those tests coming up and to see, are we making that growth, especially since we've been in a virtual environment for so long? Yeah, it can be an anxious thing to think about for me, for sure.
Well, a recent report from the nonprofit NWEA finds elementary and middle school students have fallen considerably behind on the math portion during this pandemic time, while it seems that most have been keeping up with their reading requirements. Again, to find more information about school reopenings in your area, you can log on to our website. That's at channel3000.com. Back to you guys in studio.
Taylor, thank you very much.
All right, 6:42 right now. Let's take a look at your first warn traffic maps as we wake up with another morning of some pretty dense fog out there. You're going to have a tough time seeing once again, so hit the road a couple of minutes early and also make sure you have those headlights on. We're starting to see some red showing up along East Washington Avenue in the Highway 30 corridor. Other than that, the Beltline and Interstate moving along just fine. Your drive times as you head into the city. Just some slowdowns on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline. We're down to 5 minutes from Verona to the Beltline right now. There's your impacts this morning. The red light over the next couple of hours. That dense fog advisory underway until 10, so we'll be slow going for much of the morning. Let's take a live look outside right now. Hattie's going to break down that dense fog advisory and also tell us just how long that cloudiness is going to be sticking around. That's coming up.
And a little Wisconsin humor to make you smile this morning. Stay with us. It's coming up after the break.
It's your last chance for Furniture and Appliance Mart's New Year's appliance deals. Save huge on top brand appliances, including top brand doorbusters like these. Plus, no interest for 18 months and quick ship delivery at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley Home Store off the Beltline.
For the pets you love, well, you gotta get down.
And don't forget your Free Mounds candy bar.
What does it mean to fight for what's right? And who decides what's right? Is it right for an insurance adjuster to try to get you to settle for less than you deserve? Is it right to let victims struggle to pay their medical bills? To us, it means helping accident victims get their lives back to normal again. It means doing what's right for you. Habish, Habish, and Rotier. We fight for what's right.
A surprise party, a wedding proposal, an unexpected bonus at work. Some surprises are awesome, but this? Weather like this should never be a surprise. Not when you watch News 3 Now, where you get an accurate, reliable forecast, so you're never caught off guard by the weather. Need to get up early to shovel, add time to your commute, wear boots, rebook a flight? Let News 3 Now First Warn Weather give you everything you need to know so you can plan your life.
We've always had villains to face.
Bad guys to take down. But you
are the most horrible of all.
We're not here because we have to be.
We're here because we've had enough of you.
Every single one of us is mortal.
But inside of us, we're all heroes.
So stand up with us. Stand up to fight.
Stand up to cancer. Visit standuptocancer.org to learn more.
It's your last chance for the Ashley Home Store New Year's sale. Shop exclusive deals through Tuesday only, including doorbusters available for immediate pickup and delivery, plus interest-free financing for 5 years, and a bonus 5% discount off our sale prices. Only at Ashley Home Store.
A sewer backup destroys a Janesville woman's basement.
This isn't my fault. I didn't cause the damage.
But the city says they're not liable either. Why this disabled vet is afraid she'll lose her home. Could it happen to you? News 3 Now investigates tonight at 10. Download the Channel 3000 First Warn Weather app today.
Welcome back. We're bringing you a reason to smile today with a little humor from the Manitowoc Minute Guy, Charlie Behrens.
Tell me you're from Wisconsin without actually telling me you're from Wisconsin. Here, I'll go first.
You're from Chicago, huh? Does that mean you're a Bears fan or no? Oh, no. Well, I still will shovel your walk, okay, but I'm not going to salt it. Actually, I will still salt it, but I'm not putting tater tots on the casserole I'm bringing over later. You're going to have to get cornflakes, okay? Sorry. Unless you really do like tater tots, then I'll make an exception.
Tell me you're from Wisconsin without actually telling me.
Isn't this great? Charlie Behrens, known for that Midwestern accent and humor. He tweeted out this video, of course, asking all of us to say we're from Wisconsin without saying it. Some of the responses that he got: I have a cheese drawer in my fridge. I thought that was universal. And yeah, I asked the DJ at any wedding, do you got Roll Out the Barrel?
Gotta play Roll Out the Barrel.
Anybody else? That's a favorite of mine. I love that. That'll get me toe tapping all day, Chris.
Yeah, I think we played that one at our wedding. I'm not entirely sure. We definitely did most of the classics. We had a live polka band at our wedding shower. That was fun. Oh. That was great. You know, it's like, oh, we'll get, you know, cousin Jimmy's got his band. We'll just have him come and play, you know, the polka. You won't have to pay for him. We'll just, you know, throw him some Busch Lights. But great.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Good stuff. So, Hattie, get some pretty Wisconsin-like weather headed our way. What do you think?
We definitely do, but I have a question for you guys. I'm from northwestern Wisconsin, and our ATM machines were called time machines, T-Y-M-E.
Yep.
Did you guys have those?
Yeah, time machine, yeah. It was T-Y-M-E.
I've been busted saying, right? I need to find a time machine. I got to get some money.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about, Hattie.
All right, glad I'm not alone. Well, let's take a look at our visibility this morning. We're not alone in this fog as well. Here in Madison, visibility is about half a mile. Visibility is down to a quarter of a mile in Monroe. Still zero visibility in Juneau and Lone Rock. So be careful this morning. In the Dells, your visibility is less than 2 miles as well. Take a look at our temperatures. A few spots in the teens this morning, but most of us are at least starting in the 20s. Everyone is below freezing though, so there could be some slick spots on the roads. This graphic looks like it's just black behind me, but this is actually our Edgewater sky camera shot, completely fogged over this morning. 30 degrees at 4 p.m. Look for highs in the low 30s across the area.
All right, thanks, Addie. Stick around. The morning sprint is coming up after the break.
But first, it is January 7th, and we want to say happy birthday to Luke and all the other kids turning 3 today. Happy birthday, and thanks for celebrating with News 3 Now this morning.
Look Who's 3 is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit MGE2050.com.
Today, you can turn your home into a university, and you can turn a lasting career into reality. With Herzing University, you can earn a degree in today's hottest fields. Anytime, online. Herzing is recognized, accredited, experienced, and transfer-friendly with more than 90% student satisfaction. For a limited time, we'll waive your enrollment fee. See what your career can turn into with Herzing University. I'm possible at Herzing. Call or click today.
Spread holiday cheer and save more than ever at the Century House. Right now, give $50 or more to charity and get $400 off stressless Mayfair recliners in all Paloma leather colors and $300 off most other stressless recliners. Plus, save hundreds more with $200 off every sofa seat you buy. 'Tis the season to give a little and save big on stressless furniture. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
So, how's saving for the renovation going?
All done.
I will never understand how you do it.
Easy. She saves with BMO Harris. We give you a cash reward for every month you save.
So BMO will give me cash for saving money?
You bet.
Can the subject hold position 2, please?
How's this?
That's art.
That makes saving look good.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect. Get a $5 reward every month you save $200 or more in a new BMO Statement Savings account.
When we hear a big storm's headed our way, some of us fall back into bed, some into fresh powder. Spending your day indoors or out, it's all about knowing what to expect. Watch News 3 Now for an accurate first warn forecast so you can plan your perfect day.
Connect with News 3 Now on Facebook Messenger to create a personalized news feed just for you. The topics you want, the day's top stories, and push alerts for breaking news all through Messenger. Learn more at channel3000.com.
News 3 Now and Channel 3000 put top stories and breaking news at your fingertips. Video alerts and forecasts, simple and fast. Download the Channel 3000 app today.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit MGE2050.com.
Go to Amazon.com skills to enable Channel 3000 news briefs.
6:52, time for the morning sprint.
As the country wakes up, lawmakers are just going to bed. A live look at the Capitol this morning. Lawmakers stayed in the chambers until the early morning hours, finishing their constitutional duty to certify President-elect Joe Biden's victory. The process had been delayed by 6 hours after a mob of violent Trump supporters broke into the Capitol. Roughly 12 hours after the riot started, Capitol officials finally managed to clear all buildings of internal security threats.
For the first time, we're getting as close to a concession as we've seen from the president. In a statement overnight, he says there will be an orderly transition of power on Inauguration Day. The president continued his baseless attacks on the integrity of the election in his statement as well.
Wisconsin's election results are now confirmed after that overnight vote by lawmakers. There was an attempt to object to the state's results, but it didn't have enough support. Some legislators reversed their decision to object after the mob takeover at the Capitol. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson is one of them. He voted no to objections to results in Arizona and Pennsylvania. Johnson had been set to vote yes earlier in the day. All Wisconsin Democrats voted to confirm the win.
Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar says she is drafting new articles of impeachment against President Trump. Several Democratic lawmakers say they support her, including Wisconsin Representatives Gwen Moore and Mark Pocan and State Attorney General Josh Kaul. They say the president's remarks at a protest earlier in the day incited those riots. Another possibility being floated this morning is invoking the 25th Amendment. This would effectively remove President Trump from office and make Vice President Pence commander-in-chief. Several cabinet members have considered whether to bring the proposal to Pence to trigger official proceedings. The vice president avoided questions from reporters about it early this morning.
Capitol Police are being praised and scrutinized this morning. For much of the early parts of the riots and looting, the officers were vastly outnumbered with no reinforcements in sight. Eventually, the Department of Defense and surrounding states sent in National Guard troops to help get things under control. More than 50 people are now facing charges related to the riots. Most of them are for violating D.C.'s curfew. At least 14 D.C. officers have been injured by the pro-Trump mob.
4 people are dead because of the riots. A U.S. Capitol officer killed a woman identified as an Air Force veteran who had stormed into the Capitol building with other mob members. 3 others died of medical emergencies in the area near the Capitol. D.C.'s police chief didn't specify if these people had been involved in any way with the overthrow of the Capitol building.
Democrats now have control of the Senate, the House, and soon the presidency. John Ossoff is the projected winner now in the second runoff in Georgia. He beat Republican David Perdue. Democrat Raphael Warnock is the winner of the other runoff, beating incumbent Senator Kelly Loeffler.
The positivity rate for COVID cases in Wisconsin is continuing to increase. 27,000 people have active cases of the virus. The number of newly confirmed cases in Wisconsin on the rise again since the most recent peak in mid-November.
Final look at traffic at 6:55 this morning. Keep in mind that dense fog advisory underway, so we will have some slow-going roads and traffic this morning. We're not seeing any significant problems on the roads, no crashes to report so far. Drive times moving near that posted speeds, just a couple of slowdowns on 151 as you approach the Beltline. That's your First One traffic.
And your First One weather starts with temperatures in the 20s this morning. We are dealing with some fog, though. Keep in mind that dense fog advisory goes until 10 o'clock this morning. Visibilities are less than a mile in many spots.
Have a great day, folks.